Welcome to Eye on Arkesia, where we take a look ahead at all things Lost Ark coming your way. We know there have been a lot of recent changes shared about our plans for our updates coming out in September and October and the release of Tier 4. So before we dive in, we're going to talk a little bit about the most recent team update. Earlier this summer, a few members of our team paid a visit to the Smilegate RPG offices in Korea to discuss player feedback. During the trip, both teams agreed that a lot of the feedback delivered by our players in the West is a result of some of the different experiences and environments that kind of stem from the Korean version of the game versus ours. In order to help address this, more measures are needed to suit the Western version of the game, and we want to make more efforts towards this. So taking a step back, we were recently able to share some of the results of these conversations in our latest team update. And I hope some of what I share today will give players a glimpse at the future changes as well. For those that may have missed it, due to localization delays, the biggest among these changes was the shifting of the Tier 4 update 2 weeks back to October 9th. After gathering additional community feedback, we're also happy to share that we'll be shifting Elixir to release 2 weeks after that, on October 23rd. To share some context around this, we first proposed this short release timeline for Elixir in order to kick off ancient gear farming to ease the use of the new Ark passive system. However, players made it super clear this felt too fast, so we'll be pushing back a little bit accordingly. We hope having an additional week to prepare for Elixir assists players in feeling more prepared for the raid's release. The September update will release on September 11th and will include the Behemoth raid at item level 1620, dropping Tier 3 materials. Players will be able to hop in and enjoy ahead of Tier 4, and Weapon Transcendence will be available starting at item level 1620 with this. Please note that Behemoth clear rewards, including amounts of gold and honing materials, will be adjusted to meet these kind of 1620 item level requirements. In the team update I mentioned earlier, we also touched on some of our plans to bring in recent Elixir and Transcendence system updates from Korea as soon as possible. We're happy to share those changes will come to our version on the game in the September update, September 11th, and they'll make it easier for players to progress through these two systems. With these changes, Armor Transcendence levels 4 through 6 will be available after clearing Gate 2 of Thamine on any difficulty, and level 7 will be available after clearing Gate 3 of Thamine on any difficulty. For the Elixir system, Epic Elixirs will be removed from the rewards pool, and Legendary will become available at item level 1600. Normal and solo modes of the Ivory Tower will also begin to drop Legendary Elixirs at 50% of the amount rate dropped in hard mode. We know players have also been interested in learning more about coming progression events and how those might help them prepare characters for Tier 4. We're still working on some of these plans, but wanted to share a couple of early callouts. There will be a progression event released in September designed to support players, and be sure to keep an eye out on our website for more details on that. Oktoberfest will also return, and this year it will include a variety of rewards to help support player progression directly. We'll also be holding the Blooming Makoko event again, which will utilize the bound gold system and allow us to increase the amount of gold you can actually earn from the jackpot, even with the same probability of winning. Finally, we also wanted to give players a heads up on a few additional October dates. Events including the Maharaka Festival, Super Makoko Express, Voldus Power Pass, and current daily playtime event will be extended until October 9th. Proving Ground Seasons 5 will also end on October 9th, and the Thamine the First Mode Challenge will now remain open until October 30th, so if you want to earn that Eclipse title and Abyss Grugok mount, you have a little bit of extra time to do so. And of course, Ignite servers will launch on October 9th alongside Tier 4. These servers are going to have a lot of exciting features for players to take advantage of to help them accelerate up to the endgame. New systems on these servers will make it easier for players to get familiar with the game and efficiently grow in power before merging their character or moving their character onto a selected legacy server. This is going to be a brand new system for Lost Ark, first introduced in the Western version of the game before it's released anywhere else, so definitely stay tuned for news on those servers. I think they'll be really beneficial for players new, returning, and old. Last but not least, we know that the Western version of Lost Ark and its player base have a lot of notable differences from the Korean version of the game. As we mentioned earlier, considering things such as the growth rates of players in the West, speed of content, speed of releases, and more led us to adjusting Behemoth to 1620. When Tier 4 arrives, we will change the Behemoth rewards to the Tier 4 item pool and maintain that 1620 entry level for the content. With all these considerations, we know there will be cases where other pieces of content may need to be presented differently from how they initially were in the Korean versions of the game, particularly in terms of required item level, entry levels, and available rewards. While specific details are still under discussion with Smilegate RPG, our teams want you to know we're exploring this so we can ensure players enjoy Tier 4 to the fullest with the least amount of stress possible. Thank you for joining us for this month's Eye on Arkesia. We really appreciate players' patience with us while we've worked to take your feedback into account and make changes. And we encourage you to stay tuned to all of our channels as we get closer to upcoming releases. We hope this episode of Eye on Arkesia gave you a good look at what's ahead, and as always, we'll see you in Arkesia.